Hi, my name is Jim Walters, and if you enjoy sports, concerts, and you like the idea of picking up a second paycheck without having to get a second job, then I want you to listen to me very carefully. That's because over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you an incredibly simple way to cash in on an unusual $4.5 billion loophole in the sports and entertainment industry that's making average people rich. And what's more, the secret is so simple that you can actually start using it today with so little effort that I swear to you, you're going to feel guilty about it. But don't worry, because of this little-known bill passed by the House of Representatives, everything I'm about to tell you is perfectly legal, it's ethical, and it has nothing to do with betting, with gambling, or anything else that you've ever seen before. Now, before I give you the scoop, I gotta warn you that some of the stuff I'm about to tell you on this video is going to be pretty hard to believe. And really, I don't expect you to buy into a thing I'm saying at this point. Instead, just keep listening, and I'll tell you the story on how I discovered this amazing secret, why it works, and why I'd like to share it with you for free. Yeah, I said for free. No strings attached. None. Now, does that sound like a plan? Okay, good. Then here's the story. About a year ago, my family and I fell on some really tough times that nearly landed us in bankruptcy court. Well, in short, my good friend Rick and I got the bright idea that we wanted to become our own boss and ended up investing our life savings into what appeared to be a sure-shot business that was going to make us rich. Well, that's at least what we thought. Anyway, I'll spare you the painful details, but let's just say it didn't turn out to be what we expected. In fact, it turned out to be a horror show. And to make a long story short, the whole business went up in smoke like a brush fire in July inside of just 4 months. And every damn dime I fed into this ugly monster, that's what I like to call it, was gone. In fact, the only thing I had to show for it was a bunch of new gray hair and 2 antiques that have an unusual significance to this story. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But first, while all of this was caving in on top of me, my old lady suggested that we set up a meeting with Poindexter, that's what we call our tax guy, to see if we owed any taxes on this crap. I agreed, and a couple of weeks later we met up, and he, the tax guy, said we're in the clear for taxes, but Rick and I should dissolve our business partnership for liability purposes. Well, I was okay with that, and so was Rick. Both of us were really stressed out at the time, and we just needed some rest. The thing is, it was a heck of a lot easier for Rick to take time off than it was for me, because the guy had a massive bank account. He made a whole bunch of money in the entertainment industry way back in the 80s, and he had no problem taking an extended vacation to figure all this out. Me, on the other hand, I wasn't so lucky. I needed a paycheck right away, or else I'd lose my house, my truck, my dog, and probably my wife. Of course, I wasn't going to let that happen, so I spent my days and sometimes nights desperately searching for a way to bring home some money, with no luck. This went on for about 3 months, until one day, and I was desperate. I took the 2 antiques that we had left over from the business to a local buyer, that's a fancy word for a pawn shop, to see how much money I could get for them. It must have been my lucky day, because that crazy SOB offered me $3,000 cash on the spot for those 2 antiques. I was on cloud 9 because that was just enough to cover my unpaid bills, including my mortgage. Now, I want you to listen. Here's where the story gets interesting. Just as I was about to take that stack of brand new crisp $100 bills and deposit it into the hip bank, also known as my pocket, my damn conscience took over, and I realized that half of that cash belonged to my ex-business partner, Rick. And even though I needed the cash, I did the honest thing and I mailed my buddy Rick half the money with a handwritten note that simply said, "This is your cash, buddy." Well, a few weeks go by, and out of the blue, take a wild guess who called me. It was Rick basically telling me I should have just kept the money because he would have never known the difference. I told him, look, as much as I needed the cash, you and I both know that wouldn't have been the right thing to do. And just as I said that, the phone went really quiet. And at first I thought the guy hung up on me, but after a few more seconds, he blurted out something that nearly knocked me out of my chair. He said, "Jimbo," that's what he called me. "You and me have known each other going on, 12 years now? I always knew you were a good friend and an honest guy, but what you did by sending me my share of the money when you desperately needed it is the most honorable thing anyone has ever done for me." He then paused for a second and said, "Jim, I have a confession to make, and it's something that I need to get off my chest before I explode." He then went on to tell me how last January he had discovered by complete accident a money-making secret so powerful it's like nothing I've seen or heard of before, and he'd like to share that secret with me. Now, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't jumping for joy at that point, even though I needed the money, because I was expecting him to tell me about some MLM program or some other new business he wanted to start with me, and I just didn't have the cash or energy to do it. But instead, he shocks the heck out of me and he started telling me how through some of his old contacts in the entertainment industry, he figured out a way to take advantage of an unusual loophole in the sports and concert industry that allowed him to go from making zero to over $100,000 a week. He told me it had nothing to do with gambling, starting a new business, or doing anything time-consuming or complicated. In fact, he said he works no more than 5 hours a week, and he does everything he needs to do out of the spare bedroom of his house without having to talk to anyone or sell anyone anything. Now, if you're anything like me, I'd bet good money that right now you're saying to yourself, what a load of BS. It's okay. You can admit it. I said the same thing myself. And let's not forget, I've known Rick for years, and even I thought the guy was off his rocker. On the other hand, he didn't sound like he was playing games. And the entire time I've known this guy, he's never lied to me about a thing or did anything to make me question what he said. So I begged him to tell me more, and over the next 15 minutes, my jaw was on the ground. Yeah, he told me the unusual story on how he stumbled upon this secret loophole, why it works, and most importantly, how I could use it myself to make all the money I wanted without leaving my house. Now, I'll be straight with you. Everything Rick said made perfect sense and was the most clever thing that I had ever heard. Well, I, like most people, just took for granted that sports teams and music artists performed just to entertain fans. Well, now I know different. A lot different. However, his crazy idea really seemed just too simple to work. That's why before I got my hopes up too high, I wanted to see some cold, hard proof. So after our phone conversation, I sat at my kitchen table for 20 minutes and did exactly what Rick told me to do. Now, after that, I went on with the rest of my day, really not believing this crazy idea was going to work. A few days later, just like he said, I discovered the shock of my life. With less than 20 minutes worth of work, I got a check for over $520. I admit it, I was totally shocked. This simple money-making secret actually works, and it worked faster than I even imagined. But even that couldn't prepare me for what happened in the next couple of weeks that followed. That first trickle of money quickly turned into thousands and thousands of dollars on complete autopilot. And the craziest part about this is I did no real work. Hey, I'm not kidding. I didn't talk with anyone. I didn't have to sell or persuade anyone to do anything. And most importantly, it was stupid simple. Stupid simple. In fact, it was so simple that the entire method he was using to make hundreds of thousands of dollars out of a spare bedroom of his house could be summed up on just 2 or 3 sheets of paper, and you'd understand it in minutes, and you'd be using it in the very same day. All you need is a little common sense and the ability to follow simple step-by-step instructions, and in less than 24 hours, you could start getting a second paycheck without having to get a second job with virtually no work. And like I said before, let me repeat, this doesn't have anything to do with gambling, sports betting, or starting a business. No, this is a new and incredibly simple way to capitalize on a $4.5 billion loophole in the sports and entertainment industry that I believe not 1 in a million people know about in a way that you cannot possibly imagine. All right, okay, so what does all this have to do with you? And more importantly, how can you get a piece of the action? Well, you got 2 options here. Option number 1, we'll call it the hard way. You can try to figure out this secret on your own, and in all honesty, hey, good luck with that. I've spent the last 20 years of my life buying different money-making plans through the mail and on the internet, and I've never seen or even heard of anything like this before. There are no books written about this subject. There's no magazines you can read about this hidden loophole. In fact, the only whispers that I've heard about it was in a New York Times article, and they just glossed over the subject. In fact, I'm pretty certain that Rick might just be the first person in the world to do it in just this way. So I guess that means unless you know Rick, you'll never find out about it. Why? Well, because the way this loophole is set up, everything is done in complete privacy with no one knowing what you do. That's why only a handful of insiders in the entire country know about this money-making secret, and good luck trying to get them to talk about it. Then there's option number 2. We'll call it the easy way. You can let me and Rick show you step by step exactly how to take advantage of this exciting and lucrative opportunity so you can start getting paid right away, absolutely free. Here, let me explain. I just written a comprehensive report that reveals everything about this opportunity in full detail in a simple way that anyone can understand. The report is called Massive Profits in Sports and Concerts. Now, in this 54-page, easy-to-read special report, I'll show you how it works, and most importantly, I'll give you the exact step-by-step system that Rick and I are using to get paid thousands of dollars, in his case, hundreds of thousands of dollars a week following sports and concerts, and how you can do the exact same thing with no special training or education starting 25 minutes after you get the report. There's nothing complicated about it. It's just based on knowing the secret and exploiting it, legally and ethically, for huge sums of money anytime you feel like it. Now, let me be clear on this. What you're getting is not some get-rich-quick scheme or a work-from-home business opportunity. In fact, it has nothing to do with starting a new business or providing some type of service for people. This is new. This is brand new and different. What I'm talking about today is a real opportunity for you to position yourself in front of an existing $4.5 billion cash flow at the right time and get paid for it while you're on vacation or at your job or while sipping your morning coffee without having to do any real work. And best of all, anyone can do this because there's nothing new or complicated to learn. You can do it if you're a man, a woman, black, white, yellow, green, purple, no matter if you're 18 or 81 or even 101. And you can do it anywhere in America without breaking a sweat. This is the closest you'll ever get to having your own money machine, and I want to give it to you absolutely free of charge. All you need to do is follow the simple instructions in the report, and you can make the same amount of money by just copying what we do. That, my friend, can be worth a fortune to you, and it's perfect for people that are overworked, short on time, and you just want to start getting paid right away. But like anything else, there is one catch. If you want in on the action, you don't have forever to make up your mind. Look, it should be no surprise to you that I have hidden reason for doing this. I mean, why else would I hand you, for lack of a better phrase, a treasure map each month already proven to work, even if you paid me $10,000, $20,000, or even $50,000 for it? The truth is, I wouldn't. However, the way this works is the faster I can get checks in your hand, the more money I'll make doing what I'm already doing, and that's really the only reason why you're seeing this video. So here's what you need to do right now. In the box below this video, right below this video, I want you to type your special access key that's printed on the postcard that you received in the mail. It's located right below the website address, right there, below the website address. Next, you'll be taken to our 100% secure priority acceptance page where you can tell me where to ship your free material. Now, after that, Lisa in my office will package everything up, drop it off at the post office today, and you should get it in just 3 to 5 days. That's it. It's super simple, and it'll take you no longer than a couple of minutes. So type in your access key below this video right now to get started. In closing, I want you to know something in all sincerity. Regardless of what you decide today, 1 month is going to pass with or without you. And average guys like me are going to continue to make big money following sports and concerts. This can easily include you if you just put your skepticism aside and you just go for it. You're getting it for free. So what do you have to lose? Believe it or not, getting rich, making a lot of money, or becoming financially free really isn't that difficult. It's not. It's about finding the right opportunity at the right time and getting involved with the right people who have the right systems already in place so you can make money automatically. And now you have all 4 of those right elements in place, allowing you to carve out a piece of this $4.5 billion loophole starting today without you having to figure it all out on your own. Hey, Rick and I have done that for you. The key is getting in on the action while you still have a chance. I mean, ask yourself this question. A month from now, a year from now, or even 10 years from now, if you keep doing what you're currently doing, will you be richer? Will you be happier? Will you have more freedom? Or will you just be 10 years older? If you're like most people, you'll just be older. Don't let that happen to you. Give this a shot. This very well could be the opportunity that you've been waiting for. So type in your access key below and let me ship this out to you today. Thanks for listening, and take care.